Yashamati Nandana Prajabaranagara Gokul Ranjan Kanha Goptinandana Prajabaranagara Gokul Ranjan Kanha Gopi Parana Dhana Madana Manohara Gopi Parana Dhana Madana Manohara Kaliya Damana Vidhana Kaliya Damana Vidhana Gopi Parana Dhana Madana Manohara Gopi Parana Dhana Manohara Kaliya Damana Vidhana Amal Hari Namamiya Vilasa Vipina Purandhara Navina Nagaravara Vamshi Vadana Suvasa Malahari Nam Amiya Vilasa Vipina Purandhara Navina Nagaravara Vamshi Vadana Suvasa Brajajan Palana Asur Kul Nashana Brajajan Palana Asur Kul Nashana Nanda Godhana Rakhavara Govinda Madhava Navanita Taskara Govinda Madhava Navanita Taskara Sundarananda Gopala Sundarananda Gopala Brajajan Palana Surkul Nashana Nanda Godhana Rakhavara Govinda Madhava Navanita Taskara Govinda Madhava Navanita Taskara Sundarananda Gopala Sundarananda Gopala Yamuna Tata Chara Gopi Vasana Hara Yamuna Tata Chara Gopi Vasana Hara Ras Rasik Kripa Moya Ras Rasik Kripa Moya Shri Radha Vallabha Vrindavana Natavara Shri Radha Vallabha Vrindavana Natavara Bhakti Vinodashaya Bhakti Vinodashaya Bhakti Vinodashaya Sumati Nandana Brajavarnagara Sumati Nandana Brajavarnagara Gokul Ranjan Kanha Gokul Ranjan Kanha Gopi Parana Dhana Madana Manohara Gopi Parana Dhana Madana Manohara Kaliya Damana Vidhana Kaliya Damana Vidhana Kaliya Damana Vidhana Kaliya Damana Vidhana Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Nitai Gauranga, 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 Nitai Nitai Gauranga, 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 Gaura Hari, Nitai Gauranga, Gaura Hari, bolo. Gaura Hari, Nitai Gauranga, Gaura Hari, Nitai Gauranga, 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 Gaura Hari, Nitai Gauranga, Gaura, Gaura, Gaura Hari, Gaura, Gaura, Gaura Hari, Gaura, Gaura, Jai Satchinandana Gaura Hari, Jai Jai Satchinandana, Jai Jai Satchinandana Gaura Hari, Jai 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 Satchinandana Gaura Hari, Jai Nitai Gauranga, 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 Gaura Hari, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Gaura Hari, Nitai Gauranga, Gaura Hari, Jai Jai Satchinandana Gaura Hari, Jai Jai Gaura, Gaura, Gaura Hari, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda 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 Jaya Radha Madan Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Radhe Jaya Madan Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Radhe Jaya Radha Shyam Sundar Radha Shyam Sundar Radhe Jaya Jaya Radha Giridhari Radha Giridhari Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Nitai Gauranga Nitai Gauranga Jaya 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 Nitai Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Nara Hari Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Nara Hari Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Gurudev, Gurudev. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu. Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. So I sent. Okay. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for coming. We will chant Brahma Samhita first, and then we can start with our class. Today's topic is understanding Krishna's plan. It is difficult. Yeah. These are the prayers by Brahma, and he's the first jiva. But you will see in Shastras even he will say, I cannot understand Krishna. But he's the first jiva. So Krishna's plan is inconceivable. So we'll sing his prayers by Brahmaji, and then we can start with our class. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam Chintamani Prakara Sadma Shukalpa Vriksha Lakshavriteshu Surabhira Bhipalayantam Lakshmi Sahasra Shata Sambrahma Sevyamanam Govindamadi Purusham Tamham Bhajami Venum Kwanantamaravinda Dalaya Taksham गर्हावतां शमसिताम्बुदसुन्दराङ्गं कन्दर्पकोटिकमणीयविशेषशोभं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। आलोलचन्द्रकलसद्वनमाल्यवंशी रत्नान्गदं प्रणयकेलिकलाविलासं श्यामं त्रिभङ्गललितं नियताप्रकाशं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। अङ्गानि यस्य सकलेन्द्रियवृत्तिमन्ति पश्यन्ति पान्ति कलयन्ति चिरं जगन्ति नन्दचिन्मय सदुज्ज्वलविग्रहस्य गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। अद्वैतमच्युतमनादिमनन्तरूपम् आद्यं पुराणपुरुषं नवयौवनं च वेदेषु दुर्लभम् अदुर्लभम् आत्मभक्तौ विन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। पन्थास्तु कोटिशतवत्सरसम्प्रगम्यो वायोरथापि मनसो मुनिपुङ्गवानां सोऽप्यस्ति यत्प्रपदसिम्न्यविचिन्त्य तत्त्वे गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। एकोऽप्यसौ रचयितुं जगदण्डकोटिं यच्चक्तिरस्ति जगदण्डचयादन्तः अण्डान्तरस्थपरमाणुचयान्तरस्थं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। यद्भावभावितधियो मनुजस्तथैव सम्प्राप्य रूपमहिमाशनयानभूषा सुक्तैर्यम् एव निगमा प्रतितैस्तुवन्ति गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। आनन्दचिन्मयरसा प्रतिभाविताभिर्वीर्य एव निजरूपतया कलाभिः गोलोक एव निवसत्यखिलात्मभूतो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। प्रेमाञ्जनछुरितभक्तिविलोचनेन सन्तः सदैव हृदयेषु विलोकयन्ति श्यामसुन्दरमचिन्त्य गुणस्वरूपं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। रामादिमूर्तिषु कलानियमेन तिष्ठान् नानावतारमकरोद्भुवनेषु किन्तु कृष्ण स्वयं समभवत् परमपुमान्यो विन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। यस्या प्रभा प्रभवतो जगदण्डकोटिकोटिष्वशेषवसुधादिविभूतिभिन्नं तद्ब्रह्मनिष्कलमनन्तमशेषभूतं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। माया हि यस्य जगदण्डशतानि सूते त्रैगुण्यतद्विषयवेदवितायमाना सत्त्वावलम्बि परसत्त्वं विशुद्धसत्त्वं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। आनन्दचिन्मयरसात्मतया मनःसु यः प्राणिनां प्रतिफलं स्मरतामुपेत्य लीलायितेन भुवनानि जयत्तजस्रं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। गोलोकनाम्नि निजधाम्नि तले च तस्य देवी महेशहरिधामसु तेषु तेषु ते ते प्रभावनिचया विहिताश्च येन विन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। सृष्टिस्थितिप्रलयसाधनशक्तिरेका छायेव यस्य भुवनानि बिभर्ति दुर्गा इच्छानुरूपमस्पि यस्य चेष्टते सा गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। क्षीरं यथा दधिविकारविशेषयोगात् सञ्जायते न हि तथा पृथक् अस्ति हेतो यः शम्भुतामपि तथा समुपैति कार्यात् विन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। दीपार्चिरेव हि दशान्तरमभ्युपेत्य दीपायते विवृतहेतुसमानधर्मा यस्तादृगेव हि च विष्णुतया विभाति गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। यः कारणार्णवजले भजति स्म योगा निद्रामनन्तजगदण्डसरोमकूपः आधारशक्तिमवलम्ब्य परां स्वमूर्तिं विन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। यस्यैकनिश्वसितकालमथावलम्ब्य जीवन्ति लोमविलजा जगद अंडनाथा विष्णुर्महांस्य यस्य कला विशेषो गोविंदमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। भास्वा यथास्म सकलेषु निजेषु तेज स्वीयं कियत् प्रकटयत् तद्वदत्र माय एष जगत् अंडविधानकर्ता गोविंदमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। यत्पादपल्लवयुगं विनिधाय कुंभ द्वन्द्वे प्रणाम समये स गणाधिराजा नान् विहन्तुमलमस्य जगत्त्रयस्य गोविंदमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। अग्निर्मही गगनमम्बुमरुद्दिशश्च कालस्तथात्ममनसीति जगत्त्रयाणि यस्माद् भवन्ति विभवन्ति विशन्ति यं च गोविंदमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। यच्चक्षुरेश सविता सकलग्रहाणां राजा समस्तसुरमूर्तिरशेष तेजः यस्यज्ञया भ्रमति संवृतकालचक्रो गोविंदमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। धर्मोत्पापनिचया श्रुतयस्तपांसि आदिकीटपतगावदयश्च जीव यद्दत्तमात्रविभव प्रकटप्रभावा गोविंदमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। यस्त्वेन्द्रगोपम् अथवेन्द्रमहो स्वकर्मा बन्धानुरूपफलभाजनमातनोति कर्माणि निर्दहति किन्तु च भक्तिभाजां गोविंदमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। यं क्रोधकामसहज प्रणयादिभीति वात्सल्यमोह गुरुगौरवसेव्यभावै चिन्त्य तस्य सदृशीं तनुमापुरेते गोविंदमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। गोविंदमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। श्रिया कांता कांता परमपुरुष कल्पतर्वो ध्रुमा भूमिश्चिंतामणि गणमयी तोयम अमृतम कथागानं नाट्यं गमनम् अपि वांशी प्रियसखी चिदानन्दं ज्योति परमपि तत् आस्वाद्यमपि च स यत्र क्षीराब्दी श्रवति सुरभिभ्यश्च सुमहान् निमेषार्धाख्यो वा व्रजति नहि यत्रापि समय भजे श्वेताद्वीपं तम् अहम् इयं गोलोकमिति यं विदन्तस्ते क्षन्ता क्षिति विरलचाराकटि ईश्वर परम कृष्ण सच्चिदानंद विग्रह अनादिरादिर्गोविंद सर्वकारण कारणम इति श्री ब्रह्म संहित संपूर्णम हरि ओम ओम तत्सत। हरे कृष्णा। So just to give a overview of what we are going to do today, we'll first sing a little bhajan. It's Jai Radha Madhav. And after that, we'll pick up a verse. Then, usually we do some invocation prayers. So, if you see when you enter someone's house, or you enter a house, new house, if you buy a house and you enter that, or rent, whatever, you do some Griha Pravesh, right? Some auspiciousness is done, right? If you get first salary, what we do? We give something to temple. Why? It's called Dhanna Shuddhi. Right? So something auspicious we do whenever something new we start. Srimad Bhagavatam is a very glorious Purana. So before we start something, we ask for some blessings from Acharyas. So those are known as Mangalacharan prayers. We will do that. And we will also read 3-4 verses about the glorification of Srimad Bhagavatam. And then after that we will start our class. Yeah. Okay. So we'll do... we'll do Jai Radha Madhav, just short bhajan. I also don't know. जय राधा माधव जय कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज विहारी Premanandi, very, very good. You can go to 1916, Srimad Bhagavatam. It's an interesting pastime. So, we all know that after the entire Mahabharat war, Bhishma was lying on the bed of arrows. And Yudhishthira Maharaj was thinking that such a big war had happened and so many people were killed. Was he the reason for this entire massacre? And this is the verse that Bhishma then says. We'll sing this verse and then we'll do Mangalacharan and we'll start our class. Okay. So how this goes is, this verse is in the form of Anushtup, 4 quadrants. So we'll read one quadrant at a time. In Bhagavad Gita, mostly all the verses are Anushtup, 4 quadrants like this, 32 syllables. Hare Krishna Mahamantra is 32 syllables. Similar this also. So I'll sing 1 quadrant, then you can repeat. Okay. And till the time you don't perfect it, we'll keep on repeating. Just kidding. Okay. So we'll start. Na yasya karichidrajan puman veda viditsitam yad vijajnasya yukta muyanti kavayopihi. Na yasya karichidrajan puman veda viditsitam yad vijajnasya yukta muyante kavayopihi. Na yasya karichidrajan puman veda viditsitam yad vijajnasya yukta muyanti kavayopihi. Yeah, someone should try from Prabhu's side. Someone should give it a try.
नायस्य करहि चिद्राजन
नायस्य करिचिद्राजन
पुमान वेदा विदित्सितम
पुमान वेद विदित्सितम
यद्विजिज्ञासा युक्ता
यद्विदिक्षास्या युक्ता
मुह्यन्ति कवयोपिः
मुह्यन्ति कवयोपिः. Want to try? Let's go ahead. No, go ahead. Anyone? Yeah, please. What's your name, Prabhu?
Shivam. Shubham.
Shivang. This mask,
Okay.
it gets filtered out.
Anyway. नाह्यस्य करहि चिद्राजन
Na yasya karichidrajan
पुमान वेदा विदित्सिताम
puman veda viditsitam
यद्विजिज्ञास्य युक्ता
yad vijishasya yukta
मुह्यन्ति कवयोपिः.
muyanti kavayopihi. Wonderful. Thank you, Shivang, Prabhu. Okay, we'll read the verse word by word and then we'll go to translation. Na, never. He, certainly. Yes, asya, his. Karichit, whatsoever. Rajan, O king. Puman, anyone. Veda, knows. Viditsitam, plan. Yat, which. Vijishasya, with exhaustive inquiries. Yukta, being engaged. Muyanti, bewildered. Kavaya, great philosophers. Api, even. He, certainly. This engaged is not the engagement engaged. This is like engaged in some service, something like that kind of thing. So, okay. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O King, no one can know the plan of Lord Shri Krishna. This Bhishma is considered a Mahajan. In Vedas it is mentioned there are 12 Mahajans and Bhishma is one of that Mahajan. Mahajan is the one who understands the conclusion of all the Vedic scriptures. And that personality is saying that we cannot know the plan of the Lord, Shri Krishna. Even though great philosophers inquire exhaustively, they are still bewildered. Right? Purport. The bewilderment of Maharaj Yudhishthir over his past sinful acts and the resultant sufferings, etc., is completely negated by the great authority, Bhishma, one of the 12 authorized persons, right? We heard just now. He was a Mahajan. Bhishma wanted to impress upon Maharaj Yudhishthir that since time immemorial, no one, including such demigods as Shiva and Brahma, could ascertain the real plan of the Lord. So what can we understand about it? It is useless also to inquire about it. Even the exhaustive philosophical inquiries of sages cannot ascertain the plan of the Lord. The best policy is simply to abide by the orders of the Lord without argument. The sufferings of the Pandavas were never due to their past deeds. The Lord had to execute the plan of establishing the kingdom of virtue, and therefore his own devotees suffered temporarily in order to establish the conquest of virtue. Bhishma Dev was certainly satisfied by seeing the triumph of virtue, and he was glad to see King Yudhishthir on the throne. Although he himself fought against him, right? Bhishma Dev actually fought against Yudhishthir Maharaj. But he was happy Yudhishthir Maharaj being on the throne. Even a great fighter like Bhishma could not win the battle of Kurukshetra because the Lord wanted to show that vice cannot conquer the virtue, regardless of who tries to execute it. Bhishma Dev was a great devotee of the Lord, but he chose to fight against the Pandavas by the will of the Lord, because the Lord wanted to show that a fighter like Bhishma cannot win on the wrong side. Right? So we'll discuss this verse more in detail. We'll sing Mangalacharan prayers. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prashtaya, Bhutale Srimate, Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane. Namaste, Saraswati Deve, Gauravani Pracharine, Nirvishaya Shunyavadi, Pashyadesh Mukam Kurti Vachana Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatam Aham Vande Shri Guru Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam. We'll sing the Bhagavata Mangalacharan now. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiriyat Shinvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shavana Kirtana Hridyantosta Bhadrani Vidunoti Susatsatam Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Namah Pankajanabhaya Namah Pankajamaline Namah Pankajanetraya Namaste Pankajangriye. Hare Krishna. Maji, can we go to that link that I shared, KK's songs? There was a set of verses. So, Sanatan Goswami, he was one of the Acharya, and once he was very morose. We are also sad, right, sometimes. Some manager said something, or our spouse said something, right? We are also sometimes morose. Maybe our kid said something. So sometimes we are also morose. So Sanatan Goswami also was very morose. But his moroseness was something else. He was morose because he wanted to have Srimad Bhagavatam. book Srimad Bhagavatam. And he didn't have. That time, we are talking about at least 500 years back, it was not easy to get Srimad Bhagavatam. If you just PTO, please turn over, you will see that there is Srimad Bhagavatam over there. Very easily available. Right? Right? Vaishnava Prabhu says that we have Srimad Bhagavatam for each and every person in this Bay Area. So he has so many Srimad Bhagavatam. But 500 years back, it was not very easy. So Sanatana Goswami was meditating that he doesn't have Srimad Bhagavatam. And then suddenly, when he went to sleep, in his dream, there's a young blue boy who came and gave Srimad Bhagavatam to him. And he was extremely happy, extremely happy. But then suddenly when he woke up, he realized it was just a dream. It was just a dream. He was extremely sad. Sometimes when devotees go out for book distribution, when we go knock the door and we present Srimad Bhagavatam, sometimes the host also becomes very sad seeing Srimad Bhagavatam. Why? Because now they know if they accept it, they will get detached from this material world, which they don't want to do. Right? So they also become very sad. So, but Sanatana Goswami also was very sad because he didn't get Srimad Bhagavatam. But because he had so much intensity of his prayers to get Srimad Bhagavatam, that blue boy Krishna, he actually came and he gave Srimad Bhagavatam then. And then after that, then Sanatana Goswami, who is an Acharya, he then wrote 5 verses glorifying Srimad Bhagavatam. This is a part of Krishna Lila Stava. So we will quickly read those 5 verses. Sarva Shastrabdi Piyusha, you can sing together. Sarva Shastrabdi Piyusha, Sarva Vadaika Satphala, Sarva Siddhanta Ratnadhya, Sarva Lokai Kadrik Prada, Sarva Bhagavata Prana, Srimad Bhagavata Prabho, Kali Dvanto Daditya, Shri Krishna Parivartita, Paramananda Pathaya, Prema Varshikshārayate, Sarvada Sarvasevhyaya, Shri Krishna Namostute, Madekabandho Matsargin, Madguru Madmahadhana, Madnistaraka Madbhagya, Madananda Namostute, Sadhu Sadhu Tadain, Atini Chochatakara, Hanamunchan Kadachinmam, Premnarit Kantayaspura. Can someone read the translations? So when we read a novel, when we open a novel, what we do in the back side and in the front side, there are some feedbacks, right? Some authors write behind how they like the book, right? So these are like that. Sanatana Goswami is saying how he likes Srimad Bhagavatam, what is Srimad Bhagavatam after his realizations. So we can read that.
O Srimad Bhagavatam, O nectar churn form, the ocean of all the Vedic scriptures, O most prominent transcendental fruit of all the Vedas, O you who are enriched with the jewels of all spiritual philosophical conclusions, O you who grant spiritual vision to all the people of the world, O life breath of the Vaishnava devotees, O Lord, you are the sun which has arisen to dispel the darkness of the Kali Yuga. You are actually Krishna who has returned among us. O Srimad Bhagavatam, I offer respectful obeisances unto you. By reading you, one attains transcendental bliss, for your syllables rain pure love of God upon the reader. You are always to be served by everyone, for you are an incarnation of Krishna.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Prabhu. Can someone else read 4th and 5th? Prabhu, you want to read? 4th and 5th.
It has a scroll.
Yeah, 4th. O Srimad Bhagavatam.
Okay. O Srimad Bhagavatam, O my only friend, O my companion, O my teacher, O my great wealth, O my deliverer, O my good fortune, O my bliss, I offer respectful obeisances unto you. O Srimad Bhagavatam, O giver of saintliness to the unsaintly, O uplifter of the very fallen, please do not ever leave me. Please become manifested upon my heart and my throat, accompanied by pure love of Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. So these are glorification of Srimad Bhagavatam. On Tuesday, we have Bhakti Vinod Thakur's disappearance day. And I was just thinking that he is a person because of which we know Mayapur, right? He was trying to find Mayapur is the place where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you see on the left hand side, you see Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And then you have Radha Krishna, Radha Madan Mohan, and then we have Narsimhadev. So Gauranga Mahaprabhu actually appeared in Mayapur 500 years back. But obviously because of Krishna's inconceivable plans, it was covered after that. And then Bhaktivinoda Thakur, by reading various scriptures like Bhatni Ratnakar, Chaitanya Bhagavat, and various scriptures, he was trying to find out where exactly Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's that lost place is. Where is that place? And then he came across a verse in Bhakti Ratnakar. it says, Navadvipe Madhye Mayapura Namasthane. That is Navadvipa Madhye, the 9 islands, Navadvip Madhye. In that, there is one island known as Mayapur, Mayapura Namasthane. And then it says, Yathaya Janmile Gaurachandra Bhagavane. That place, Mayapur, there Janmile, who? Gaurachandra. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was born, right, appeared. And then, obviously, this is scriptural evidence that he's got. But then he invited Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj to that place, Mayapur, to be double sure, right, whether that place is actually Mayapur, where is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's birthplace. And then as soon as Jagannath Babaji Maharaj, he saw that place, he immediately said, Eto Janma Bhumi Nitai. Nitai Janma Bhumi. Eto Nitai Janma Bhumi. He said, this is the place where Nimai or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually took birth. Right? So we should be very grateful to Bhaktivinoda Thakur, because of whom we are actually knowing about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If we see, not many people actually understand or are aware of the Vedic or Vaishnava or Vedic literatures. Like once there were some people who had gone to a temple, they were new people, completely new, they didn't know much about Vaishnava culture or Shastras. So they saw half man, half lion killing a man with nails. You know who is he? Narsimhadev killing Hiranyakashipu, right? So he saw that and he was completely baffled that I'm coming to a peaceful place like temple, what am I seeing? So he asked one of the person, he was a devotee, and he asked him, so which is this picture? I mean, what is this? So he said, that person, that with big nails, that is Narsimhadev. He said, okay, Narsimhadev. Okay, looks like a lion, Narsimhadev. But then he asked, but who is that poor guy sleeping down? So he said, he is a person who did not give donation after taking the books. So because that person had forgotten to give donation, he immediately said, okay, take it, take the donation. Sometimes people don't know, right? Similarly, one person, once he came in the temple and he saw Lord Vishnu lying on the Anantashesh. Anantashesh he was lying, and he saw, what this is kind of a god who is currently surrounded by so many snakes and still no anxiety, still no anxiety, right? Some of you might have seen Bhaktivedanta Manor. There are 3 altars. So first is Radha Krishna, then there is Sita Ram, Lakshman, Hanuman, like that. There are 3 altars. So like that, there was 2 people who were going to the temple. One had some idea about the temple, and one was completely new. So sometimes it happens, right? When it is completely new person, so the other person will try to, he'll try to explain. So there was one devotee who was watching this entire scene. So this person who knew something little bit, so he said that this new person was asking, so what are these deities? What are this? So he said, on the left-hand side, we have Radha Krishna. He said, on the middle, we have Sita Ram, Lakshman, Hanuman. So the devotee was thinking, okay, 2 out of 2. Then he said, what is on the right? He said, Love Kush. It was Gaur Nitai. So he said, Love Kush. So this is the situation basically. People don't know about Gaur Nitai. And then this devotee who was listening the entire thing, he went he was discussing with other devotee, and he said that they were saying Gaur Nitai, Love Kush. So he said, that is correct. That is not exactly, that is still correct. He said, how? He said, Gauranga is Prema Purushottam Mahan. So he's giving love. So he's love. And Khush, because Nityanand Prabhu is always happy. So love Khush. So he said, it is right. But then he said, not exactly right, the devotee in the temple said. But the point is, we see that not many people know about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? Not many people know about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came 500 years back, who is Krishna himself. He is Krishna himself who came just to spread the holy names of the Lord. Just to spread the holy names of the Lord. So very fortunate that Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he found this place, Mayapur, because of which now thousands and millions of devotees, and in fact visitors also, they go every year to that place where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, appeared. And if you see people all over the world, they try so hard to spread the words of Gauranga. Madhji, can we go to that slide which I was which I showed, that one slide. This is very long back. In UK, what they wanted is that somehow every passerby who is going through the road should be able to chant the name of Gauranga. Not legally, do not try this in your city. So they put a poster, Gauranga, on the bridge. So whoever was passing by, they were seeing this word Gauranga. And they all were thinking, what is this Gauranga? So, but they all obviously was seeing and they were uttering the name, Gauranga. And then after sometime 6-7 months after that, obviously when they came to know by mistake someone has posted it. Actually, one of the devotees only posted it. They removed it. And then they asked one of the person, like just a passerby, that, so do you know who is Gauranga? He said, yeah, a company which builds bridges. But still, at least they know, they have uttered the name Gauranga. So we see that devotees, they try in different ways to chant the holy names of the Lord. I have one video I will show. These are devotees who, should I send it to you, right? Live.isv. This is a very famous video. It's a very recent one. People come up with so amazing ideas so that the visitors, you got the video? So that they can chant the holy names of the Lord. See, this is very nice. Can we play? It's only 1 minute video, but just shows people literally they meditate on how they can share the name of Gauranga. Starting? Okay, yeah. But anyways, by the time it starts, there was a game, GTA. Have you heard? I don't know the full form. It's some theft auto, something like Grand Theft Auto. So in that also, the owner, somehow he got connected with the devotees, and he put the devotees in that what do you call it? In that video game. So there was a car and there were devotees chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra in that video game. So you see, devotees are trying so much. Somehow or the other way, they get connected to Krishna. Yena tena prakarena mana Krishna niveshayat. Even if, in a wrong way also, still, at least they are chanting. Once there was an article, it was Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur or Srila Prabhupada. So it was written against Krishna consciousness. So the devotees came and said, see what they have written. They have written everything against Krishna consciousness. Then Srila Prabhupada said, count how many times they have written the name Krishna.
Can you say Gauranga? Gauranga!
We can show the video also, Shravanam, and also we can watch it. Is it possible also, or? Yeah. This, in Facebook, it went like, can. It's just amazing, very simple. Just one Mridanga and one Karta.
Can you say Gauranga? Gauranga! Gauranga!
Actually, the people, some of them are not even understanding what it is. They are just dancing, right? That is the power of Gauranga.
Can you say Gauranga?
This is on the street. This is a recent video, I think. 2 years back. It's Denver, I think. You can pause it.
Can you say Gauranga? Who? Gauranga! Who? Gauranga! Gauranga!
Yeah, so see, this is devotees, somehow or the other way, they are just trying hard that the passerby, somehow they can chant the holy names of the Lord, Gauranga. But it all started because of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He found that place, Mayapur, and now thousands and thousands of devotees are going to that place. And now, all over the world, people are chanting Gauranga and Nityananda, right? So, yeah, so that is the power of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And now we are discussing in this verse about how Krishna's plan is inconceivable from Srimad Bhagavatam, right? From Srimad Bhagavatam. Srila Prabhupada once he said that my greatest gift to this world is actually these books. Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bhagavad Gita. It is said that Bhagavad Gita are the words of Krishna. Right? Krishna spoke. Bhagavad Gita are the words of Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam are the actions of Krishna. 10th canto is completely on Krishna. And Chaitanya Charitamrita is the mind of Krishna. What Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is displaying is about what exactly the mind of Krishna is. So, and that 3 books, which are concocted by some other philosophers, Srila Prabhupada actually painstakingly wrote all those books and presented to the entire world. Right? Many of you might have, movies, if you see, think about it, I'm just thinking that if you see movies, they come up with so many different philosophies. You might have heard this dialogue, "Hum ek baar jeete hain," right? I don't want to complete that sentence, but basically it was from one of the old movie. The guy was saying that "Hum ek baar jeete hain." Basically, we live for one lifetime only. Just imagine this one concocted idea throws completely the philosophy of reincarnation, right? And it's like cards. If one of the piece of a philosophy is removed, the entire that card will crumble, right? The entire design. So if you remove reincarnation, then karma goes away. There's no point, because then people will think that why bad things happen to good people, right? They will not understand its cycle, one after the lifetime, right? And then there's no controller, right? So because of that, they will think, "Ye zindagi milegi na dobara." There's one lifetime. But it all starts with anything, any concocted idea that we see, we hear, it just remains, and then it just builds on it, and it can just go haywire. But because of Srimad Bhagavatam, we understand that exactly what is the philosophy. That is why these books are very important. Sometimes people think why we should have these books, right? But actually these books will protect us from this material world, especially from various ulterior philosophies that are hovering around, right? Which are hovering around. So that's why. And recently, couple of days back, I was just distressed about some other thing, and then immediately opened, after some time, just opened Srimad Bhagavatam and read some verses, and was hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, and then just realized that actually the constant companion that we have is actually Srimad Bhagavatam. We were reading from that 5 verses. Mad ekabandho mad sargin, mad guru mad mahadana, right? Mad ekabandho, bandho means friend. Who is our dear friend actually? Who is our dear friend? Is actually Srimad Bhagavatam. If we see, body will change, correct? Do you think our body, the way it is, it will remain as it is? When we are child, we think that when we'll become young. And when we are old, we think when we'll again become young, right? And youth thinks that life should be paused now. It should be like this only, right? Body keeps changing. The people around us will change. The situation will change. The place where we stay will change. Mother Earth says that people actually work hard so much to get a piece of land, and they feel that it's theirs, but they don't realize that after 100 years it will be someone else's. Everything changes, but what remains is Srimad Bhagavatam in the holy name of the Lord. That is the power of Srimad Bhagavatam. But the problem in this Kali Yuga, people have forgotten that. Earlier, if you see, I'm talking not very long ago, 50 years back, you will see that people used to work from 9 to 5, and after that they used to go to, like, what we call it, like a common place. All nearby homes used to come together, and they used to just glorify the holiness of the Lord, right? Now they do something else in the evenings, right? But Srila Prabhupada actually brought back that movement of reading Srimad Bhagavatam and chanting the holy names of the Lord, right? So we should be extremely fortunate. So it says, Mad Eka Bandho. Who is our constant friend? People will leave, but who is our constant friend? That is Srimad Bhagavatam. Mad Eka Bandho, Mad Sargit, Mad Guru, who is the master, who will guide us constantly. It is actually Srimad Bhagavatam. Mad Eka Bandho, Mad Sargin, Mad Guru, Mad Mahadana. Who is the greatest fortune? What is the greatest wealth? Right now we say, right, market is very hot. If you switch, you can get double or triple. People switch after every quarter also, just to maximize. Market is very hot. But in the core of the heart, devotee understands that the greatest wealth is actually Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? So, Sanatana Goswami is saying, Mad Eko Bandho, Mad Sargin, Mad Guru, Mad Mahadana, Mad Nistaraka, Mad Bhagya, Mad Ananda. Who can give us greatest pleasure is Srimad Bhagavatam. Mad Ananda Namostute. once one devotee, I don't remember Vaishnava or someone else, he was telling in the class that how can you find who is a real Vaishnava? How can you find who is a real Vaishnava? He said, if that person by some reason lost everything, but he has just got Srimad Bhagavatam and little Prasadam and is still happy, then he's a real Vaishnava. Right? Obviously, we are not yet there, but we are all trying or praying or meditating in some way, someday, just having Srimad Bhagavatam and Prasadam, little Prasadam, to keep our body, mind and soul intact to read Srimad Bhagavatam and be there. Right, in Mayapur, so in Vrindavan, Vaisheshika Prabhu is the temple president of this temple. Just once in a month for 15 days, they just read for 6, 7 hours Srimad Bhagavatam, 7 hours during the Kartik time, just getting absorbed in Srimad Bhagavatam, right? So, yeah, that is the glory of Srimad Bhagavatam. That actually Srimad Bhagavatam is the one which is our constant companion. No one else, no one else. But we forget that sometimes. But these classes which we have Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday, it just helps us to remind ourselves. That includes a speaker also. For me, I'm saying that Srimad Bhagavatam is so very important. So very important. We might be going through various things in our life, but when we come back to Srimad Bhagavatam, it's like a bull. See, a bull who is tied to a middle, right? Something like an oak tree or something. If it is tied, bull can go run and here and there, whatever he can do, right? But finally he has to come back. That pivot is there, right? So for in our life, the pivot is Srimad Bhagavatam, right? That is our pivot, Srimad Bhagavatam. And that is why if you see devotees, especially ISV, their only objective in their life is actually how can they give this Srimad Bhagavatam to one and all. To one and all. They try hard to distribute Srimad Bhagavatam and it's behind. So if anyone is interested, they can take. But that is the glory of Srimad Bhagavatam. Sanatana Goswami is saying that in his prayers. And from that we are reading today, especially Bhishma Dev prayers. But because on Tuesday it's Bhakti Vinod Thakur's disappearance day and he is the one who brought Mayapur, I was thinking that we will understand this verse that we just read, that it is difficult to understand Krishna through Chaitanya Charitamrita pastimes. Chaitanya Charitamrita is basically pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates. So we'll read from that, but having this context of this verse based on that, right? So, now we can go to the deck. So sometimes what happens is when we are coming for the exam, so what happens is just one day before, we start scribbling on the piece of paper just to remember so that next day morning we can just revise. So I was doing the same thing. That's why you might see the format and all out of place. I was scribbling on docs.google.com/spreadsheets. So it's little unformatted, but it will serve the purpose. So please forgive me for that. So now Bhishma Dev is saying that it is difficult to understand the plan of Krishna, right? Yudhishthira Maharaj is saying it is difficult to understand the plan of Krishna. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is talking to Sanatana Goswami. He is saying, wait. What are you saying? Not just Krishna. It is difficult to understand even Vaishnavas. In Vaishnavas you cannot understand. He says, Yanra chitte Krishna prema koroye udaye tanra vakya kriya mudra bhikena bhujaye. Yanra chitte Krishna prema koroye udaye. That person in his heart, Krishna prem, koroye udaye, has already risen. In his heart, if that is the case, then tanra vakyam kriya mudra, his speech, his body, and mudra, vigyena bhujay. One cannot understand his reasonings or what he is trying to do. Once a young boy, he entered a room and he didn't know that he is entering the room of Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada was sitting there. He wanted to meet Srila Prabhupada, but he didn't know he's Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada is the founder Acharya of our ISKCON society. So he said that, I want to meet Srila Prabhupada. He said, why you want to meet Srila Prabhupada? He said, because I want to take initiation from him. He said, why you want to take initiation from him? Said, because I've read his books. Said, so? What you have read these books that you felt that you want to take initiation from him? And then this young boy was saying that, I have read that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself who has come in this world 500 years back to spread the holiness of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he has mentioned that again and again. I'm completely convinced I want to take initiation from him. He said, no. He's an old man. Don't worry. He's just, this is, Srila Prabhupada only saying this. But young boy doesn't know. He said, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is just a saint. He's not God. So don't worry. So this young boy got really angry. That, he's just saying he's a jiva. But he's actually Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ishvara Parama Krishna. So there was back and forth argument, and then he really got angry. You don't know anything. The young boy told that Srila Prabhupada. And Srila started laughing. So because Srila was laughing loudly, the disciples outside, they immediately came, Aisa kya hua? I mean, what happened? Right? So they immediately came inside. They saw Srila Prabhupada, oh, everything is okay, and then they offered dandavats. As soon as this young boy, he realized that, he's Srila Prabhupada himself. And then he also offered obeisances. And then he was asking for forgiveness, that he chastised Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada said, no, this kind of chastisement I like. Why? Because this was, he was trying to chastise because he was trying to ascertain that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that young boy is none other than Radha Govind Maharaj. Right? So we see that, devotees, now Radha Govind Maharaj wouldn't have even dreamt that Srila Prabhupada would come up with this kind of thing. Right? But it's difficult to understand even devotees' words, body language sometimes. So that's what here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling, that Tanra Vakya Kriya Mudra Vigyana Bhujai. Right? This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying. Adi Jiva, Brahma, after that Brahma Vimohan Leela, right? Where he was thinking that who is this coward boy? Right? Who is this coward boy? Let me abduct him. Right? And the Gopas. And then he realized that, he's Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. And then he says this verse. Okay, can we go to the next one? This is from Srimad Bhagavatam. Mati, we can go to the next verse. Yeah, so this is the verse by Brahmaji. He's also saying the same thing. Jananta eva janantu. You can repeat after me. Jananta eva janantu. Kim bhaktyam na me prabho. Manaso vapusho vacho. Vaibhavam tava gochara. Yeah, someone wants to read the translation? Prove Mike. You will get extra points by that.
There are people who say, I know everything about Krishna. Let them think that way. As far as I am concerned, I do not wish to speak very much about this matter. O my Lord, let me say this much. As far as your opulence are concerned, they are all beyond the reach of my mind, body, and words.
Yeah. So here Brahma is saying that I know everything. If people who say that I know everything about Krishna. Sometimes we go out for book distribution, people, when we give Bhagavad Gita, we try to, and they say, Arey, Bhagavad Gita, I know Bhagavad Gita. And when we ask which is your favorite chapter, they'll say, chapter 19th. I know Bhagavad Gita. Right? But there is no chapter 19. There are only 18 chapters. But the point is actually they don't know. Right? So here Brahmaji is saying that there are people who say, I know everything about Krishna. But then Brahmaji is saying, but let me tell you what my stance is, what I think. Right? And his body is made of intelligence. Like our body is made of this gross body, right? Earth, water, fire, air, ether. His body is made of intelligence. And he's saying, let me say what I think. After the entire scene of Brahma Vimohan Leela, I think it is difficult to understand Krishna. Right? Your opulence are concerned, they are all beyond the reach of a mind, body, and words. It is just difficult to understand. Right? But then the question comes, how to understand Krishna? Right? How to understand Krishna? And that comes through a pastime which we'll read. It is in Antyalila, first chapter, 65th verse. Mataji, we can do the advanced view. This is a very advanced section also, but we'll try to understand to the best of our abilities. This is between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Rupa Goswami, but it's a very sweet pastime. We have around 20 verses. We'll just go through it. Antyalila, first chapter, verse number 65th. So just to give a background of this section, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has reached Jagannath Puri for Jagannath Rath Yatra. And now Rupa Goswami, who is also one of the 65, Mataji, 65, and we can do the advanced view. We can go we want to read like 20 verses. This will tell you what is the way by which we can understand Krishna's plan. Okay, so this is what here they are saying. Yeah, so then Rupa Goswami also reached. And then, Mataji, we can remove the synonyms from top and we can remove the purport. We can just read the verses and Bengali is very sweet, right? Bengali. So I just thought we'll read the verses. Yeah, correct. So now Rupa Goswami has reached Jagannath Puri also. Okay, so now this is starting. Aradina Prabhu Rupe Mile ya Vasila Sarvagya Shiromani Prabhu Kahite Lagila. He says, translation, on the next day, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to see Srila Rupa Goswami, the omniscient Lord spoke as follows. Who is the omniscient Lord? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. Right? So Rupa Goswami is going there. Krishna re bahira nahi kariya vraja hoite vraja chhadi Krishna kabu na yana kahante. Do not try to take Krishna out of Vrindavan, for he does not go anywhere else at any time. Suddenly Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling this. Do not try to take Krishna out of Vrindavan. So now he is already confused, Rupa Goswami. Where is this coming from? Right? We'll see. Can we go down? Krishnonyo yadu sambhuto yapurna sostya atha paraha vrindavanam parityajya sakvachinnaiva gacchati. The Krishna known as Yadu Kumar is Vasudev Krishna. He is different from the Krishna who is son of Nanda Maharaj. Yadu Kumar Krishna manifests his pastimes in the cities of Mathura and Dwarka. But Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj, never at any time leaves Vrindavan. So he's saying that there is Dwarka Krishna and there is Vrindavan Krishna. Both are separate. Right? This verse comes from Laghu Bhagavatamrita. And then, Eta kahi Mahaprabhu madhyane chalila Rupa Goshai mane kichu vismaya hoila. So Rupa Goswami is confused, but now he is able to understand why is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying this. After saying this, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to perform his noontime duties, leaving Srila Rupa Goswami somewhat surprised. Prithagnatak karite satya bhama agya dila jani lu prithagnatak karite prabhu agya haila. So now, Rupa Goswami is in dream, Satyabhama had come, one of the queens of Krishna. And she had said that you write a book on the drama of Krishna. So he was planning to compile only one book. But now Chaitanya was indirectly saying that you don't compile one book, you compile two books. Vrindavan Krishna and Dwarka Krishna. You'll see. Satyabhama ordered me to write two different dramas. Srila Rupa Goswami thought, now I understand. So Satyabhama told two, now he's understand. Now I understood that this order has been confirmed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Purvedoi natak chila ekatra rachana dui bhaga kari ebe kari mughatana. So then he's saying, formerly I wrote the two dramas as one composition, correct? Now I shall divide it and describe the incidents in two separate works. Dui nandi prastavana dui sangatana prithaga kariya likhi kariya bhavana. I shall write two separate invocations of good fortune and two different introductions. Let me think deeply about the matter and then describe the two different sets of incidents. The two works are Vidagdha Madhav and Lalita Madhav. The Vidagdha Madhav describes pastimes in Vrindavan and Lalita Madhav describes pastimes in Dwarka and Mathura. This is just a backdrop. Now it will start, the real story. So now Rath Yatra is starting. In here also it will start in some time. In 1.5 months it will have in LA, then it will have in SFO. Ratha Yatrayak Jagannath Darshana Karila Ratha Agre Prabhura Nritya Kirtana Dekhila. During the Rath Yatra ceremony, Rupa Goswami saw Lord Jagannath. He also saw Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dancing and chanting in front of Ratha. Prabhura Nritya Shloka Shuni Shri Rupa Goshai Sei Shlokartha Laya Shloka Karila Thatai. When Rupa Goswami heard a verse uttered by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu seeing Lord Jagannath Rath Yatra, he uttered a verse. Right? So Rupa Goswami heard that verse during the ceremony. He immediately composed another verse dealing with the same subject. Purve se hi sab katha kari yachi varnan tathapi kahiye kichu sangshepe kathan. I've already described all these incidents, but I still wish to add briefly something more. Go down, Mataji. This is Krishnadas Kaviraj saying. He's just saying that I've already described this in Madhya Lila, but I'm just elaborating now a little bit more. Samanya eka shloka prabhu pade na kirtane, kene shloka pade iha, kehak nahi jane. Generally, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recited a verse while dancing and chanting before the Ratha. But no one knew why he was reciting that particular verse. So in devotion, there are two ways of expression. The two most important or topmost way of expression is by chanting and by dancing. And both of this happens in Rath Yatra and also in ISV Sunday Feast 5:30 to 6. Chanting and dancing. So that happens here also. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also doing the same. But now they are bewildered that about this verse. Sabbe eka swarup goshai shloker artha jane shloka nurupa pada prabhu ke karanas aswadane. Only Swarup Damodar Goswami, he is another Vaishnava along with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Only Swarup Damodar Goswami knew the purpose of which the Lord recited that verse. According to the Lord's attitude, he used to quote other verses to enable the Lord to relish mellows. Now the thing is, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu already was thinking about next verse. But that verse, Rupa Goswami already compiled. Right? So that is what it is, that how Rupa Goswami was able to understand what was in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's heart. Rupa Goshai Prabhura Janya Abhipraya Shai Artha Shloka Kaila Prabhuresye Bhaya. So Rupa Goswami, however, could understand the intention of the Lord, and thus he composed another verse that appealed to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is 78th verse. Oh, this is Shardula Vikrati. So this is Shad Goswami Ashtakam meter. We can just, if you want, we can all read, sing together. This is the verse that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had composed, the first verse. We'll sing. Ya kaumara harasa eva hi varas ta eva chaitra kshapas te chonmilit malat malati surabhaya praudha kadambanila sa chaivasmi tathapi tatra surata vyapara lila vidhau devarodhasi vetasi tarutale cheta samutkanthate. So this is the verse that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the combined form of Radha and Krishna, he sang this first verse. Translation, that very personality who stole my heart, he is saying this to Krishna, during my youth is now again my master. These are the same moonlight nights of the month of Chaitra. The same fragrance of Malati flowers is there. And the same sweet breezes are flowing from the Kadamba forest. In our intimate relationship, I am also the same lover, yet still my mind is not happy here. I am eager to go back to that place on the bank of Reva under the Vetasi tree. That is my desire. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying. And next, this is the verse that Rupa Goswami compiled. After Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sang that verse, right? This is Jagannath Ashtakam meter. Jagannath Swami, yeah. Priya soyam Krishna sahachari kurukshetra militas tataham saradha tad idam ubhayo sangama sukham tathapi ananta khelan madhura murali panchamajushe mano me kalindi pulina vipinaya spriyayati. So this is the verse that Rupa Goswami now compiled. So now Chaitanya is not able to understand how come he was able to understand my heart. My dear friend, now I have met my very old and dear friend Krishna on this field of Kurukshetra. I am the same Radharani and now we are meeting together. It is very pleasant, but I would still like to go to the bank of Yamuna beneath the trees of the forest there. I wish to hear the vibration of his sweet flute playing the fifth note within that forest of Vrindavan. This is the verse that Rupa Goswami compiled. This is the verse compiled by Rupa Goswami and it is mentioned in Padyavali. Yeah, we can go to the 80th verse. So now, after this, Talapatre Shloka Likhi Chalete Rakhila, Samudra Snan Kari Bare, Rupa Goswami Gela. So now translation, after writing this verse on a palm leaf, Rupa Goswami put it somewhere in his thatched roof and went to bathe in the sea. So he put that verse here and put in the thatched roof. Hena kale Prabhu oila tana remili te chale shloka dekhi Prabhu lagila padite. At that time, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went there to meet him, and when he saw the leaf pushed into the roof and saw the verse, he began to read it. Now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took that verse from that palm leaf, and he saw that verse. Now he's completely bewildered. How come Rupa Goswami is able to understand what is in my heart? Shloka padi Prabhu sukhe prema vishta hoila hena kale Rupa Goswami snana kari oila. After reading the verse, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was overwhelmed by ecstatic love. At that very time, Rupa Goswami returned, having finished bathing in the sea. Prabhu dekhi dandavat prangarne padila, Prabhu tanre chapad mari kahite lagila. Seeing the Lord, Sri Rupa Goswami fell flat in the courtyard to offer obeisances. As soon as he saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he offered dandavats. The Lord slapped him mildly. Like sometimes we do, right? How are you doing? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also. The Lord slapped him mildly. That is important. It's not chastisement. In love. And spoke as follows. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is now trying to inquire how come he is able to understand. Guda mora hriday tuni jani lake maane eta kahi rupe kaila drida alingane. My heart is very confidential. Now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is who? Krishna himself. His heart is very confidential. Who says that? Bhishma spoke about that. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu indirectly said. Then Brahmaji also said. Right? So everybody has mentioned BBC, Bhishma, Brahma and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Everybody said that Krishna's heart is difficult to understand. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's heart is very difficult to understand, right? So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying the same thing. My heart is very confidential. How did you know my mind in this way? After saying this, he firmly embraced Rupa Goswami, right? Now Rupa Goswami, so, Sei shloka laya Prabhu, swarupe dekheila, swarupera pariksha lagi, tanare puchila. So now he's asking Sarup Damodar Goswami, who was with him, right? He was asking him, how come this person is able to know my heart? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took the verse that showed it to Swarup Damodar for him to examine. Then the Lord questioned him. Right? Mora antarvarta rupa jani lakke maane swarupaka hai jani kripa kariyache apane. How could Rupa Goswami have understood my heart? The Lord asked. Right? Lord asked. Prabhu, we can go a little up. Yeah, purport. Swarup Damodar replied, I can understand that you have already bestowed your causeless mercy upon him. So what was the reason by which Rupa Goswami was able to understand the heart of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? It was because of the causeless mercy, Karuna. There's a difference between Karuna and Kripa. Kripa means that which you give, or you have to ask for it. And Karuna is which is bestowed upon you, even if you have not asked for it. So Karuna is even higher. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is actually offering Karuna. Even if you have not asked for it, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will give it. If you see Krishna's Leela and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela, it is very different. In Krishna's case, what happens is, you have to run towards Krishna to get the mercy. Gopis go towards Krishna. You will see Yashoda Maya running towards Krishna to hold him, bind him, right? So you will see that Gopas is running behind Krishna, Pakra Pakdi, right? So they are playing in Vrindavan. So if you see, devotees are running after Krishna. But in Chaitanya Leela, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is running behind the devotee, behind the people, especially the people who are fallen souls, Jagai Madai, right? So it is said it is a unique kind of race to give Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's grace and embrace for people who are disgraced. Right? It's a unique kind of race. For who? Which kind of people? Patita Pavan. That's why known as Patita Pavan, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving the mercy even to the people who are disgraced, to the fallen souls also. The entire Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy, actually we are very fortunate that we are able to come in contact with such philosophy. In India there is a Bollywood song you might have heard. Deva o Deva, Ganapati Deva, tumse badkar kaun. Swami tumse badkar kaun. What it means? That, oh Lord Ganesh, who is greater than you? Right? It's a Bollywood song. Who is greater than you? However, in our understanding, we understand that Lord Ganesh is a Devata, right? Who is holding the feet of Lord Narsimhadev. It comes in Brahma Samhita. We just read that. So we understand that. But that's fine. Okay, that is still okay. Because Krishna says that there will be some people who will not be able to distinguish between Supreme Personality of Godhead and Devatas. But then the next line is even more interesting. Then what it says, और तुम्हारे भक्त जनों में हमसे बढ़कर कौन हम. So now you are confused. Who is getting glorified? Is it Lord Ganesh who is getting glorified, or the singer is getting glorified? But in Gaudiya Vaishnava, it's not like that. The focus is completely on Krishna. Right? Our songs are like, we are completely fallen souls. If you don't deliver us, then your name will be, it's not a right name given to you, because he is known as Patita Pavan. So that is what devotees sing in Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. Not kaun tumhare bhakt jo humse badkar kaun. So it's completely changed the perspective. That's why it is very important to understand this Gaudiya Vaishnava literatures. We are fortunate that we have come in contact with such literature. Because that previous songs will actually bring pride. Right? Who is greater devotee than my? There is one entire book, Brihad Bhagavatamrita, where every person, right till Brahma and Shiva, is saying, I am nothing. Right? I am nothing. Right from a king in one of the kingdom till Indra, Brahma, Lord Shiva, everyone is saying, I am nothing. I am not a devotee. And they are pointing out the defects that they have. Instead of saying that I am the greatest, they are saying I am the smallest. So here also we see that the mercy comes to people who are humble. That's what it's showing. And Rupa Goswami is saying, Swarup Damodar Goswami is saying that because he has got your mercy, and that is why he is able to understand your heart. It is able to understand your heart. Maji, can we go back? Prabhu, can we go back to that deck again? So this is what it is. For knowing the Lord's plan or Lord's heart, you have to receive His mercy. Obviously, receiving His mercy is through Vaishnavas. When you serve the Vaishnavas, we get His mercy. And the same thing, then Brahmaji also says. In the same, where he says, Jananteva Janantu, it is not, we cannot understand. Sometimes we think, right, why it is happening to me, right, all that. But once we get the mercy of the Lord, by reading the Shastras, by getting the association of devotees, we can actually understand why it is happening to me. Why it is happening to me. So, we can do the next words. Now Brahmaji is saying the same thing, what Swarup Damodar also said. So it is consistent in every scripture. In Chaitanya Leela also, and then in Srimad Bhagavatam also, Brahmaji is saying the same thing. Can we go to the next verse, Prabhu? 10, 14, 38, and then this is 29th verse. Now Brahmaji is saying, Athapi te deva padambuja dvaya prasad lesha nugrita evahi janati tattvam bhagwan mahimno nachanya eko pichiram vichinvan. My Lord, if one is favorable by even a slight trace of mercy, see again the same thing, right? Slight trace of mercy of your lotus feet, he can understand the greatness of your personality. Then he can understand your heart. By those who speculate to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead are unable to know you, even though they continue to study the Vedas for many years. They'll continue to study Vedas for many years, but they will not be able to understand. Why? Because they have not received your mercy. Lord Krishna is very eager to bestow His mercy upon the conditioned living beings who are uselessly struggling with the Lord's illusory energy, Maya. The conditioned soul struggles for happiness through sense gratification and for knowledge through mental speculation. But both processes ultimately bring him to the morose and hopeless condition, right? We might run. We say, right, we are all running. But at the end, even if we come first, we are still in a rat race. We are still rat. In the rat race, even if we are first, we are still rats. That's what he's saying. We might keep running, but at the end, we'll still be morose and hopeless condition. If the conditioned soul surrenders to lotus feet of Lord Krishna and thus acquires even a trace of His causeless mercy, the whole situation is changed and the living entity can begin his real life of bliss and knowledge in Krishna consciousness. There's a beautiful verse, Mriyamano hare nama grinan putro pacharitam ajamilopya gadhama kimuta shraddhaya grinan. Ajamil, his situation was like this, completely hopeless, because he had done a lot of sinful activities. But at the end of his life, he chanted his son's name, whose name was Narayan, indirectly. Again, do not try this at home. He got saved, maybe not us. So he chanted the name of Lord Hari, and because of that, because he surrendered himself to the lotus feet of the Lord, he thus acquires even a trace of his causeless mercy. He got the mercy of Lord, and then he went home back to Godhead. Obviously, after that, he performed austerities. He realized what a sinful life he was going through. Right? So, Mriyamano Hare Nama Grihan Putra Pacharitam. This says that Mriyamano Hare Nama. He chanted the Lord's name, Grihan Putra Pacharitam, but it was indirected towards his son. Grihan Putra Pacharitam. Ajamilo Pyagad Dhama. Dhama, he got the supreme abode. Kimuta Shraddhaya Grihan. There is a doubt this holy name of the Lord will not work. That's what it said. So, what we understood is, we cannot understand the Lord's heart, but we can understand through his mercy. Right? When we get his mercy, we get the mercy through reading scriptures and taking association of the Vaishnavas, chanting the holy names of the Lord. Right? So now the point comes, okay, we get the mercy, but then what happens? After getting the mercy, exactly what happens? So the next section, which is next 30 minutes, we will... in fact, before that, we'll do this also. Then we'll take a pause. So now, when you give mercy, what does mercy means? Mercy means giving something. Correct? Mercy means giving something. When you give something, you have to do some sacrifice. Do you agree? Right? Let's say if you want to invite someone home. See, I think at night I'm getting invited. So, if let's say you are being invited at home, and someone is cooking something for you, right? So it's prasad, which is mercy. But someone has taken the pain to cook that prasadam. So some sacrifice has been done. Correct? Some sacrifice has been done. So if someone has to bestow the mercy, they have to do some sacrifice. Correct? When devotees go out for book distribution every Saturday, they are bestowing the mercy on the people who are coming over there and giving books. But in that, the devotees are sacrificing. They're sacrificing their time. Correct? They're sacrificing their time, their efforts, taking the books there, driving all the way to San Francisco. And after that, it is possible also that somehow that event is closed. They have to come back. They sacrifice for an entire day. Right? They sacrifice the entire day. But why? Just to give the mercy, to be the instrument in the hands of Krishna and Srila Prabhupada. Right? So there is some sacrifice that one has to do. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Krishna is no different. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had to sacrifice things. Because he also wanted to give mercy, but what he was seeing is, because people are so fallen that they were not ready to take mercy. Imagine, he wanted to give, but people were not ready to take. So then, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu devised a plan. We will see that in next two verses. Mayavadi karma nishtha kutarika gana nindaka pashandi yata paduya adhama sei sab mahadaksha Dhaya palaila sei vanya tata sabare chunite narila. So he's saying, the impersonalist, fruity workers, false logicians, blasphemers, non-devotees, and lowest among the student community are very eager, expert in avoiding the Krishna conscious movement. So they are all trying to run. Who all? Impersonalist, who thinks that, oh, there is no God, it's only light. Right? There are some. Or we have to just merge in the God. Impersonalist, fruity workers. A house by the sea, a color TV, a 3 gig MP3, Jai Jagdish Hare. Basically, they want to approach Krishna to get something. Fruity workers. False logicians, armchair philosophers. Armchair philosophers, they'll keep reading, but they're not understood anything. Srila Prabhupada says, right, in one of the purports, that there are people who will keep reading Shastras, but they have not got the mercy of the Lord. Why? Because they're not reading in the mood of servant of the servant. So, blasphemers, people who are blaspheming the Vedic scriptures, non-devotees. And lowest among the student community. Lowest among the student community. These are talking about master students, looks like. Are very expert in avoiding the Krishna consciousness movement. They are all trying to run away from Krishna consciousness movement. Right? But now, therefore the inundation of Krishna consciousness movement cannot touch them. Right? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is trying hard to give them Krishna conscious. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wants to give mercy, but they're not ready to take. Right? So now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also giving, he's doing some sacrifice. And what was the biggest sacrifice that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did? He took sannyas. He is the supreme personality of Godhead. Right? There is one, he owns everything. In 10th chapter, Arjuna says, show me your opulence. And then he shows all his opulences. Like you see, right, that movie was there, old movie. मेरे पास बंगला है, गाड़ी है, तुम्हारे पास क्या है? Remember that movie? In that movie he says, I have this, I have that. And imagine Krishna saying, this is just a spark of my splendor. All this is just a spark of my splendor. That's what he says to Arjuna. After saying all the opulences, he says, this is just a spark of my splendor. That is opulence of Krishna. He is Bhagavan. Bhagavan. Bhagavan means what? One who possesses the 6 opulences. And that Bhagavan is now taking renunciation. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu takes actually the sannyas vesh. Why? Because he wanted to give mercy. So Krishna himself is taking that position of renunciating everything. Obviously, he's a Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's a Leela, but we can just understand that he's just trying hard that someone can take Krishna consciousness. Imagine. Right? And still, after understanding this, including me, we are still running away. Still running away. We'll see this. Tatha dekhi prabhura kare na chintan. He's meditating. Imagine how to give Krishna consciousness. Right? We see devotees meditating. It's coming from Krishna only. Krishna is also meditating. How to give Krishna consciousness. Jagat adu baite ami korilu yatana. He's trying hard. Jagat adu baite. To fill the entire world. Jagat adu baite. Dubana hai. Right? Keha edaila pragya haila bhange tasaba dubaite patiba kichu range. So keha edaila. Eda. It's coming from Mumbai word. Yeda. They're out of place. So same thing. Keha edaile. People have all sorts of understanding. But how to bring those kind of people who have all sorts of understanding to this Krishna conscious movement? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Lord himself, is meditating. Chintan. He's doing Chintan. Seeing that the Mayavadis and others were fleeing, Lord Chaitanya thought, sorry for the font, as I said, I was scribbling last moment on the spreadsheet. I wanted everyone to be immersed in this inundation of love of Godhead. But some of them have escaped. Some of them have escaped. Therefore, I shall devise a trick to drown them also. In olden days, now even that has slowly reducing. In olden days, when you see a sannyasi, you have so much reverence. Now people have reverence for IITs. It just switched. But in those days, it was for sannyasis. Right? So that's why he took sannyas vesh. That's why he took sannyas vesh. So that he knows that, okay, people will at least listen to me. People will listen. So that is the renunciation that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did. Right? Why? To give mercy. Right? To give mercy. Here, there's an interesting section. Here it talks about, there's a purport by Srila Prabhupada. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu devised some completely new thing of giving the mercy. And Srila Prabhupada here is saying that an Acharya is the one who comes up with new ideas to give mercy. And he might be criticized for that. He might be criticized for that, to devise new plans. Because when he was taking sannyas, everyone, Sachidevi, Sadhu Damodar, whoever was around him, they were all crying. Imagine, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is renouncing everything. Right? So everyone was crying. But he did that for the benefit of the entire world. And when the Acharyas, they might devise new plans to come up with spreading Krishna consciousness, people might criticize. But that is the job of Acharya. They will come up with some new plans to bring Krishna consciousness. That's what Srila Prabhupada here in this purport. Someone wants to volunteer to read this purport. It's a nice purport, and we can also a little bit discuss on that. Okay.
Here is an important point. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to invent a way to capture the Mayavadis and others who did not take interest in the Krishna consciousness movement. This is the symptom of an Acharya. An Acharya who comes for the service of the Lord cannot be expected to conform to the stereotype, for he must find the ways and means by which Krishna consciousness may be spread. Sometimes jealous persons criticize the Krishna consciousness movement because it engages equally both boys and girls in distributing love of Godhead. Not knowing that boys and girls in countries like Europe and America mix very freely, these fools and rascals criticize the boys and girls in Krishna consciousness for intermingling. But these rascals should consider that one cannot suddenly change a community's social customs. However, since both the boys and the girls are being trained to become preachers, those girls are not ordinary girls but are as good as their brothers who are preaching Krishna consciousness. Therefore, to engage both boys and girls in fully transcendental activities is a policy intended to spread the Krishna consciousness movement. These jealous fools who criticize the intermingling of boys and girls will simply have to be satisfied with their own foolishness because they cannot think of how to spread Krishna consciousness by adopting ways and means that are favorable for this purpose. Their stereotyped methods will never help spread Krishna consciousness. Therefore, what we are doing is perfect by the grace of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. For it is He who proposed to invent a way to capture those who strayed from Krishna consciousness.
So Srila Prabhupada is saying that sometimes we think that we can, if Acharya comes up with new ideas to spread Krishna consciousness, we might think, oh, this is wrong and all. But Acharya is doing this for the pleasure of the Lord. Like if you see Srila Prabhupada, in his initial days, he was getting criticized from various places. He was getting criticized by Westerners. Why? Because they thought that these are people who are brainwashing the youth. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, yes, we are washing their brains because their brains are very dirty. Right? So the Americans thought, oh, they are brainwashing the youth. In Mayapur, Srila Prabhupada got criticized by his own god brothers. Why? Because he had made some new rules. In Vrindavan, he was getting criticized by caste Goswamis. Why? Because the young Americans were getting initiated. So they didn't like that. And in Juhu, Srila Prabhupada was getting criticized by municipalities when he was building that Juhu temple, the famous Juhu temple. So he got criticized by various places. But at the end, everybody understood that whatever he is doing in the service of Krishna. And that is why now you see so many temples all over the world. You go any place. 2 days back, one person, he just messaged me, he WhatsApped me that he went to France just to have a holiday. And he was seeing some 10-15 boys. They were dancing Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And he was taking what do you call it? I forgot. Along with the people. Selfie, yes. Sometimes you forget the words. He was taking selfie and showing that I'm also dancing with them. In France. Can you imagine? In France. But that's the power. That's what Srila Prabhupada has done. Yesterday also we had similar thing in Palo Alto. So here Srila Prabhupada is saying that an Acharya comes up with new ways to spread Krishna consciousness. Right? So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu now he's saying, Eta bali mane kichu kariya vichara sannyasa ashrama prabhu koila angikara. Thus the Lord accepted the sannyas order of life after full consideration. Then finally Chaitanya Mahaprabhu decided that he will take sannyas. We'll skip this purport because of the lack of time. But basically this purport, what it says is, so till Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, up till Bhaktivinoda Thakur, they were all Babaji Vesh. But then Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, he brought back sannyas. Babaji Vesh is even higher than sannyas. And this is more like for your information, FYI. If in case you sometimes read the history, you will see that there were Babaji Vesh and suddenly why Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur again started sannyas. And now in ISKCON also we say sannyas. The reason is because sometimes people, in the name of Babajis in Vrindavan, they used to smoke bidis. And they used to say, we are Babajis. Like we see sometimes, right? They have a gutka and you say, Bhagavad Gita. They will have gutka in the mouth and they'll talk about Bhagavad Gita. Right? Similarly, here also, Babajis, they will have Babaji Vesh, but they will be smoking bidis. So, and that's why Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur said that in the name of Babajis, they are actually doing all nonsense. And then Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur brought back sannyas, which is, there are 4 levels of sannyas. One of that is sannyas in Pravrichaka Acharya, like Utichaka Bandhu Bhaudaka, you can see. This was basically a lecture on Srimad Bhagavatam class by Srila Prabhupada. But the point is how sometimes people, in the name of Babajis, they might mislead people. And Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur saw that during his time, which is around 150 years back. So he brought back sannyas. So, one gets the mercy of the Lord. Now, the next section that we will read is that what happens when one gets mercy. What happens? So, next 15 minutes we will discuss that. What happens when one gets mercy? What transformation one will see? Obviously, you will know the heart of Krishna But what transformations you will see in your life when you get the mercy of Krishna. But I'll just pause here for a couple of minutes. If anyone wants to share any reflections or anyone has any questions or reflections, just what you liked. If you go out, Vaishnava says like this, if you go out and someone just asks, so you were there for 2 hours, what did you hear? So what would you like to say? Something that struck to you and you want to just reflect back. And it just helps all of us because that's where we will remember. Once Sundaram Prabhu, he said, he just came home and he was telling me some points that he heard in the class. And then he said, I'm not telling for you, I'm telling so that I can remember. Because if I tell you, then I will also remember this. Right? It happens sometimes. So anything that you want to share that struck to you? Yes, Kautukan Prabhu.
Prabhu, I like the connection between Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita, that not only Krishna's plan is inconceivable, even devotees, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying that even Vaishnava's behavior, it's very hard to understand. And similarly, as you brought up, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is taking austerity to do the welfare of everyone. So he is taking sannyas. Similarly, devotees also do the austerity, as you said, book distribution or kitchen cleaning and all those services. They do the austerity. So they exactly follow the mood of Krishna, whether it is austerity or it is hard to understand.
Yeah, it's hard to
Thank you,
understand.
Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. So once there was on the point of, it is difficult to understand devotee. So once in Moscow, there was one devotee. So always on the signal, there used to be some policeman. And this young devotee, he used to always smile at this police. So this police used to get confused that why this guy always looks at me and smiles. Usually when we see police, we get a little scared, right? And we try to go fast or take a right. Like a lot of times, I have not done anything. But if I see police, I'll just take a right turn. Even if that route is not there, then I'll take a U-turn. You never know. So, first ticket that I had got was, because I had not, every year, you have to register for the car. Again, re-registration is there. And I didn't know that rule. And I got caught for that. So after that, I realized that you never know for what you are caught for. So that is my experience. But even in airport, right? Sometimes, let's say we are coming and we see policemen with the dogs. Nothing is in our bags. But sometimes we are still little scared. You never know for what you will be, So usually people are a little scared. But this guy was smiling at the policeman. So he was confused that what is happening. So this policeman thought maybe he's drunk. That's why. Because when you're drunk, na bujoy. You don't know what you're doing. So this policeman thought that this guy is actually not able to, maybe he's drunk. So next day what he did is, this policeman got alcohol analyzer, so as soon as that devotee came, he said, wait, come on the side. So this devotee came on the side and then he said, I have to check you. So this police checked him. And then there was no trace of alcohol. So the devotee was smiling even more after that. Basically hinting him that you are thinking that this smile is because of the alcohol. It is actually because of the holy names of the Lord. And so he was just sharing this, his realization. And he left then. So the point is, it is difficult to understand what devotee is thinking. Right? So Prabhu was mentioning on that. Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Anyone else wants to add anything? Anything that struck to you that you want to just share? One last we will take and then we'll move on to the next section, which is the final section. Another 10 minutes we'll discuss that. 10-15 minutes. Go ahead.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. What's your name?
Dipali.
Dipali.
I remember only one thing, everything I remember, but especially one thing that touched my heart, like what is actually Vaishnava, the definition of Vaishnava, real Vaishnava. Like who lost everything but having a Bhagavad Gita and still happy with that. That's the real definition of Vaishnava.
Yeah, yeah.
So that touched my heart. Yeah.
Yeah, obviously it is at a very highest level, but that is we are all looking for. Once Indradun Maharaj said that we are doing so many services, we are dancing, we are chanting, and all that. Why we are doing all that is just so that one day we can sit in the corner and with one tear in our eye, we can chant the holy names of the Lord sincerely. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And then we can say it's a perfection of our life. We are doing all this just to get that one little tiny drop of love that we want to shower it on Krishna. So yes, thank you Mataji, Srimad Bhagavatam and the holy names. So yeah, that's a real Vaishnava. That's what we understand. Okay, so now we'll go to the next section. This talks about what happens, what changes will come in your life when you get the mercy of Krishna. So can we go to the next? Can we go to the next? Yeah, next slide. Yeah. So we can sing together. Helo dhunita khedaya vishadaya pron milad amodaya samya shastra vivadaya rasadaya chittarpiton madaya shashvat bhakti vinodaya samadaya madhurya maryadaya Shri Chaitanya Daya Nidhe Tavadaya Tuyat Amon Madaya. So can we go to that verse? I think it's very small. I mean, it's my only mistake, but is it okay to go to... Everybody is able to read that? Or it's difficult, then we can go to Vedabase? Huh? Yeah. Maybe we can go to the vedabase.com. Oh, otherwise you are able to read the translation? Okay, maybe then someone can volunteer. So the different, sorry, I went into Hindi and the different colors is just saying the meanings. So that's why I've highlighted like that. Someone wants to read. So 3 things happen when you get the mercy of the Lord. So Sri Chaitanya Daya Nidhe Tavadaya. Once you get the mercy of the Lord, first 3 lines talks about what happens.
O ocean of mercy, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, let there be an awakening of your auspicious mercy, which easily drives away all kinds of material lamentation.
So what first thing happens is, the moroseness is gone, right? We're all, our situation is of distress, squalor and hypocrisy, right? That is what material world is made of. But here, Chaitanya was saying that it will drive away moroseness. Yeah, you're that Moscow devotee, right? He was smiling, right? He was smiling.
By making everything pure and blissful. Indeed, your mercy awakens transcendental bliss and covers all material pleasures. By your auspicious mercy, quarrels and disagreements arising among different scriptures are vanquished. Your auspicious mercy pours forth transcendental mellows and thus causes the heart to jubilate. Your mercy, which is full of joy, always stimulates devotional service and glorifies conjugal love of God. May transcendental bliss be awakened within my heart by your causeless mercy.
Yeah. So what is the difference between the first and the third one? No moroseness means jubilation? No, not really. Because in a scale, there is negative, positive and 0. So moroseness will go, that is negative, but it's not like you will be on 0, which is Mayavadi conception. Shunya, not that. You will also be jubilant. This is the third one. Your heart will be jubilant. And the second is, there are different scriptures having different understandings. How we can reconcile all those understandings, that actually comes, and that is very important. Most of the time, not most of the time, some of the time, people might not take up Krishna consciousness because they will say, oh, there are so many scriptures and every scripture says different things. I'm confused. I don't know anything. Right? They might have that kind of understanding. So they don't want to follow anything. But then, if we get the mercy of the Lord, all that quarrels and disagreements arising from different scriptures that actually are vanquished. We will see that. That will get vanquished. So, we'll go one by one in each of the three things. So, one of the first thing is morosity will go away. Second is the scriptural understanding will be more clear, right? Basically that we have that confusions between different, we will be able to reconcile it. And the third is our heart will fill with jubilation. And that is the main thing, right? Each and every person, if you ask what they really want to be, once in a school, one teacher thought to have a test, and he asked all the students that in a paper just write what you want to be. And then every student was writing different things. One student said, I want to be a engineer. One said, I want to be a doctor. One said something. They all gave back to the teacher. And teacher was checking who wants to be what. And just smiling, seeing that, ambitious. And then she saw one paper in which it was written, I want to be happy. And then teacher called that, why you come here? I think you, and then she said, you misunderstood the question. And then the student said, you misunderstood life. Right? Actually, we all want to be happy, right? We all want to be happy. Whatever we might do, we might be doing some good job, we might be doing some all that, but at the end, the baseline is we want to be happy, right? And here, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is writing in Chaitanya Charitamrita that the mercy, when mercy pours forth transcendental mellows, and thus the heart gets jubilant, we become happy. I'm right now in a fix. We have 10 minutes. I'm thinking whether I should share one thing about Sadhu Sangha or should I go ahead with Chaitanya Charitamrita. Anyways, I'll share this. So, I can continue that Chaitanya Charitamrita some other time. So, once, this is 4 years back, before BC, before COVID. So, there was a Sadhu Sangha event, and there was one person who wanted to come for Sadhu Sangha. This happens. That time it used to happen in Boone, in North Carolina. It's pretty far. And one has to be really convinced, if he has not been to that festival, one has to be really convinced to shell a lot of money to reach there. Shell a lot of money in the sense because he was in California. The ticket is very cheap. It's like $200 something. But the flight is the one which becomes a little costly because going to Boone and come back. And every year, I think that, no, not this time. It's too costly. But somehow every year we still go. So there was one person, he was completely new, had no idea. And he said that, I want to come this time to Sadhu Sangha because he liked Kirtan. So I said that if you like Kirtan, you should come to Sadhu Sangha event. This time we were more fortunate, it was in Utah. People drove and reached there. So he came. And somehow I felt that now he's saying, but later on, he will drop out. A lot of times, sometimes, somehow the other things come up and then we have to drop out. But this guy got more people along with him. I mean, imagine. So he reached, and I usually do t-shirt service. Basically, I'm at the t-shirt table and just giving out t-shirts, something like that. So this guy, after 2 days of Kirtan, there's 3-day event, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then Monday little bit. So after the 2-day event, he came to the t-shirt to get some, for his kids. He alone had come. So then I asked him, what is your experience till now? So he said that I like to go to retreats. It's like a retreat, Sadhu Sangha retreat. He said, I like to go to a lot of retreats, different retreats, not just conducted by ISKCON, but various other retreats. He named various other retreats. And he said, whenever I have gone there, I have experienced peace. Wonderful, right? So then I said, okay, so what did you feel here? He said, I didn't just experience peace here, but I also experienced bliss. That was his experience, which is that heart is jubilant. Not just peace. Moroseness was not just removed. He also got the glimpse of jubilation of the heart, right? That's what chanting of the holy names, Kirtan, being with devotees gets. Chaitanya was telling 3 days back. He was saying that Kirtan is not just higher taste. It is just outside this world. Because you will see that people just jump. Just especially Madhav Prabhu's Kirtan, if you have sometimes attended, many other great Vaishnavas. Heart gets jubilant. So that's what here is saying, the heart gets jubilant. So three things happen again. Moroseness gets removed, scriptures, understanding we get, and third is hearts become jubilant. So moroseness, we see in Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is a section where a devotee was very morose. And Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, empowered him by giving his mercy, and then his moroseness was removed. That's what Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami explains in Chaitanya Charitamrita. We'll go to the next slide. So can we go to the next slide? It's a race against time. Okay. So this is Kurma Brahman. This is Kurma Brahmana section. So this is in Madhya Leela 7th chapter. So here Kurma Brahman is telling Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I want to go with you. He's a grahastha. And he's saying, I want to go with you. I want to travel with you. Sometimes happens, right? We feel like I want to travel with you. So he was saying that, he's saying, and now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying that he's instructing what he should do. So we'll read, Kripa kar prabhu more yantoma sange sahitena pari dukha vishaya tarange. So he's saying this vishaya. So there is two things, vish and vishaya. Vishaya means sense objects, and vish means poison. What is the difference between vish and vishaya? Vishaya means sense objects. Sense objects means something we want to be very attached to. So what is the difference between vish and vishaya? Vish takes the soul away from the body, correct? Because you will die. And vishaya takes the soul away from Krishna. So he's saying vishaya tarange. This vishaya tarange, this material world will take me away. So I want to go with you. So then the Brahmana begged Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, my dear Lord, kindly show me favor and let me go with you. I can no longer tolerate the waves of misery caused by materialistic life. Prabhu kohe aiche baat kabu na kahiba aise mat kaho. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, don't say like this. Griye rahi Krishna nama nirantara loiba. You just chant the holy names of the Lord. Griye rahi Krishna nama nirantara kahiba. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, don't speak like that again. Better to remain at house and chant the holy names of Krishna always. Just chant the holy names of the Lord. And then he says, Mahavakya. Yare dekha kaha tare kaha Krishna upadesh amar agyaye guru hina tahe tara ei desh. He's saying that instruct everyone to follow the orders of Lord Sri Chaitanya, Lord Sri Krishna, and as they are given in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. So Bhagavad Gita is one book and Srimad Bhagavatam is that entire 18 volumes. In this way, become a spiritual master and try to liberate everyone in this land. So he's saying first apply and then supply. Correct? First apply Krishna consciousness and then supply Krishna consciousness. Then give it out. So he's saying, Yarat dekha tare kaha Krishna upadesh. So he's saying that then your moroseness will get removed. Right? He says at the top, Griye rahi Krishna naam nirantara loiba. So he says your moroseness will get removed. Okay, we can go to the next slide. Yeah, this is similar thing in Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's case, but we'll pause here. So this is what we're discussing about moroseness. The second thing is about all the scriptural differences, we can reconcile it, right? We see that in Bhagavad Gita it is said, Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam. That means that this material world is full of dukkha, correct? Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam. But then Prabhupada Saraswati says that Vishwam Purna Sukhayate, that this entire world looks so blissful. So devotee is saying this entire material world looks so blissful, and Krishna is saying this world is actually material, is completely full of miseries. So how to understand? That one can understand by mercy of the Lord. Because once one has got the mercy of the Lord, then he understands this, everything, wherever I am, I'll be happy, which spoke about, right? Srimad Bhagavatam, holy name. And if we don't have that, then whatever we'll do, Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam. So we reconcile that. And we see that in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's case also. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he was trying to convince Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that the topmost goal is impersonalism. But then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu convinced him that actually it is Krishna Bhakti. And in that also, we see that in Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's case, Keshav Bharati and then Prakashananda Saraswati. It was almost the same thing. First, there was a platform of expression. First, they are expressing why their philosophy is topmost, right? So it was platform of expression. Then it was platform of exchange, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is speaking something. And then it was platform of experience. They experienced something new. Where Swami Bhattacharya saw Chaturbhuja, Keshav Bharati saw Saraswati, Mother Saraswati in his dream, and then Prakashananda Saraswati saw the entire aura of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then what they get, devotee gets is a platform of evolution. It starts from expression to exchange to evolution. But mercy, that's what you get. And here, that's what he's saying. Gopinath Acharya is saying that you got the mercy, and that's why. And he was dancing in, he's the same guy who was hard-hearted, Sarvam Bhattacharya, but now he's dancing in water. He's saying he's able to do it because now he got the mercy of the Lord. And third is obviously jubilant. We see that one becomes extremely happy. Here also, you'll see in this pastime, Sarvam Bhattacharya is dancing in water. He's the guy who was like a Vedanta, only reading. But he realized that actually heart should be like. That's why you see 5:30 to 6 o'clock. If you come on Sunday feast, what you will see is people dancing. When I came first time in Krishna consciousness, I was seeing people playing like this and all, and then we are doing like this and people are going behind that, below that. It's like kids play. But then we understand that, this is how Krishna also plays along with Gopas in Vrindavan, right? Our heart becomes soft-hearted by playing this kind of dance. So I'll end here. We have 2 minutes. I'll just tell one short last story and then we'll end. Okay. Basically, how Krishna's mercy is inconceivable. We can really not imagine in what ways Krishna bestows his mercy. And we'll end here. So once, this story was told by Suttapa Prabhu. Tomorrow is getting sannyas initiation with a great Vaishnava in Bhaktivedanta Manor. So he was telling this story. So once, Suttapa Prabhu got a phone call. 20 times he was getting the same call from the same person, but he was busy, so he couldn't pick up the phone. So, but he saw 20 times someone is calling, and that means it's something emergency. So he tried calling that person, but that person did not pick up the phone. So he thought, okay, no problem, then he left it. But then what he thought, because it was the person was calling 20 times, what he did is, he saved that number as the letter A. So in the context, it was at the topmost. 1 year passed, and by mistake, when he saw the phone, because it was at the topmost, he by mistake called. So, and he thought, anyways, by mistake I've called, let me see if he picks up. Why he called last year, I want to know. So that guy did not pick up, and then he said, okay, no problem. He just disconnected. And then he was thinking where to go for book distribution. So he just thought, okay, I'll go to a particular place. It was near Oxford or something. He went there. And then he was trying to just meet people and trying to give books. So suddenly there was a person who came to the book table. And he was like kind of person, it's like a dream of every book distributor. He wanted every book. So he wanted every book. So Sutta Prabhu got really excited. He was giving every book. And then this person said, you know what, today an interesting thing happened. Today, a Hare Krishna devotee called me. And this Sutta Prabhu said, okay, so who is this Hare Krishna devotee? He said, his name is Suttapa. He said, I am Suttapa. This devotee said, no way, I can't believe it. He said, no, check the number. My name is Suttapa. And then he showed his iCard, and he called, then he opened his phone, and he showed, is this your number? He clicked on that A, and he asked, is this your number? He said, yeah, this is my number. And then he asked, Sutta Prabhu asked that, why did you call me last year? He said that one devotee told me to take Bhagavad Gita, and he told that you are traveling near this place. So he told me to take from you. But I called a lot of times, but you did not pick up. So I left it. And today I got the book. So Sutta Prabhu was saying that after 1 year, he made a call to the same person. He went to the place where this person was supposed to come, and for all the people he could have met, he asked that person to come to the table, and it was the same person. So then he said that Krishna's mercy comes in different ways. It just, if we step out, we can see his magic. So we'll stop here. Thank you for patiently listening and tolerating. If you have any questions, something, we are already about time. We can discuss after the class or something. Now we'll have Guru Puja. So thank you again. Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu. Quick, we can, if you want something quick, we can. Oh yeah, extra plate of prasadam to get that to speak.
Whomever you meet, preach Krishna consciousness. Said, tell him about Krishna.
Yeah.
And liberate this land. So I was just wondering, what did that Kurma Brahmana did after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave his instruction?
Yeah. I mean, whatever he said, right? He was just fixed up on holy names of the Lord and chanting the Lord's names. So yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. We'll stop here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Okay, now we'll have Guru.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. We can chant these prayers together. Namashrestham manamapi sachiputram matra sarupam Shri Rupam tashagrajam murupurim mathurim gostavatim Shri Radha kundam girivaram mahoradhika madhavasam Prapto yasya pratitkripaya Shri Gurum tam natosmi He Guru Jnanada Dinabandhu Swananda Data Karunaika Sindhu Vrindavana Sena Hitavatara Prasida Radha Pranaya Prachara He Dinabandhu Karunaika Sindhu Kuru Prasadam Mai Mandamudhe Lakshaparadhe Bahupapagadhe Tatpada Padme Stumatischa Krishne. I bow down to the beautiful lotus feet of my spiritual master, by whose causeless mercy I have obtained the supreme holy name, the divine mantra, the service of son of Shachimata, the association of Srila Sarupa Damodara, Rupa Goswami and his older brother Sanatan Goswami, the supreme abode of Mathura, the blissful abode of Vrindavan, the divine Radhakunda and Govardhan Hill, and the desire within my heart for the loving service of Radhika and Madhava in Vrindavan. O spiritual master, O giver of the divine wisdom, O friend of the fallen, you are the giver of your own bliss and you are the only ocean of mercy. Although dwelling in Vrindavan, you have descended for the welfare of fallen souls like myself, and you are preaching the divine love of Radha for Krishna. Please be kind upon me. O friend of the lowly, O Gurudev, you are the only ocean of mercy. I am a dull fool and I have committed hundreds of thousands of offenses. I have fallen into the dense myriad of sins. Therefore, grace me with your mercy so that my mind can be fixed on your lotus feet of Sri Krishna. The lotus feet of our spiritual master are the only way by which we can attain the pure devotional service. I bow down to the lotus feet of the great reference. By his grace, one can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain mercy of Krishna. Our only wish is to have our consciousness purified by the words emanating from his lotus mouth. Attachment to his lotus feet is the perfection and that fulfills all desires. He opens our darkened eyes and fills our hearts with transcendental knowledge. He is our Lord, birth after birth. From him, ecstatic prema emanates. By him, ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of his character. O spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor, and the Lord of master of devotees. O Master, be merciful unto us. Give the shade of your lotus feet. Your fame is spread all over the three worlds. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhagati Sadma Shri Sahar Vandamui Savadhana Mate Vandamui Savadhana Mate Jahara Prasade Bhai Bhavato Riyada Jahara Jahara Prasade Bhai Bhavato Riyada Krishna Prapti Hoy Jaha Hoyte Shri Guru Charana Shri Guru Charane Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitte Koriya Ikya Guru Mukha Karuna Kori Ho Mane Asha Karuna Kori Ho Mane Asha Karuna Kori Shri Guru Charane Rati Aise Uttama Gati Charane Rati Je prasad pure sarva asha Je prasad pure Shri Guru Charane Rati Aise Uttama Gati Charane Rati प्रसाद पूरे सर्व आशा चकुदान दिलो दे जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से चकुदान दिलो दे चकुदान दिलो दे जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से चकुदान दिलो दे दिव्य ज्ञान विदे प्रकाशित दिव्य ज्ञान विदे दिव्य ज्ञान विदे प्रकाशित दिव्य ज्ञान प्रेमा भक्ति जहा होते अविद्या विनाश जाते प्रेमा प्रेमा भक्ति जहा होते अविद्या विनाश जाते प्रेमा भक्ति जहा होते वेद गाय जहर चरित वेद गाय वेद गाय जहर चरित वेद गाय जहर श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनार बंधु श्री करुणा सिंधु श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनार बंधु करुणा सिंधु लोकनाथ तेरा जीवाना लोकनाथ तेरा दीवाना आहा प्रभु को दया दे हमारे पद छाया प्रभु आहा प्रभु को दया दे हमारे पद छाया बेजा शुक्र भुवाना बेजा शुक्र भुवाना शिला प्रभुपाद पतित पावाना प्रभुपाद शिला गुरुदेव लोयलो शराना जय प्रभुपदा 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 शिला प्रभुपदा 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 शिला प्रभु जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिनिति नामिने कृष्णाय भूतले नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी अष्टादेशतारिणे सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा जय Prabhu Nityananda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Prabhu Nityananda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Everyone Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Jayo Radha Madan Mohan Radhe Radhe Radha Madan Mohan Radha Jayo Radha Sham Sundar Radhe Radhe Radha Sham Sundar Jayo Radha Giridhari Radhe Radhe Radha Giridhari Jayo Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Narahari Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Narahari Narasimha Jaya Narahari Jaya Mahaprabhu Jaya Mahaprabhu Jaya Mahaprabhu Jaya Mahaprabhu Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Bol Jaya Jaya Hari Bol. हरिनाम महामंत्र की जय, हरिनाम महाप्रभु की जय, हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत His Divine Grace Sri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत His Divine Grace भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य शिला हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। गंगा मई जमुना माई की जय। भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय। सामवेद गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय। मायापुर नवदीप धाम की जय। जगन्नाथपुरी क्षेत्र धाम की जय। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Hari Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you so much for coming to our Saturday morning program. It's such a nice turnover today, so please keep coming back. Are there any new faces today coming for first time? Oh, we have Dipali and we have Vasu. And what's your name? Ashwin? Aarti. So let's welcome them with loudly chanting, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you so much for coming, and we look forward to having you on a regular basis. As Prabhu mentioned, we have programs every Saturday and Sunday. So tomorrow evening we'll have program at 3:30. Starting with Kirtans and a Katha by His Holiness Bhakti Anugraha Swami. So, and we'll have ecstatic Kirtan just like we had by Jai Kanai Prabhu. So let's thank Jai Kanai Prabhu for leading ecstatic Aarti and Kirtan. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. And today's class by His Grace Acyuta Chaitanya Prabhu. Hari Bol, Hari Bol. I remember one of the things that Prabhu mentioned, that there are two ways we express our emotions to Krishna. One is by chanting, and second by dancing. So we could see that everybody was chanting, dancing, even the kids, even we have Kishori, she is chanting and dancing. So it's amazing. And we are also having Bhakti Vinod Thakur Disappearance Day festivities on Tuesday. So we'll have programs starting 4 p.m. There will be an initiation ceremony by His Holiness Sachinandan Swami, and followed by a lecture on the glories of Bhakti Vinod Thakur at 5:30. And then we'll have an offering to Srila Prabhupada. It is called MSF offering, where we offer the results of book distribution to Srila Prabhupada. So please come on Tuesday. And we have various teams going for book distribution throughout the Bay Area. I don't know if Malini Mataji is online. Just wanted to check. No, okay. So I'm sure there are many teams going door to door in areas, Bay Area, Fremont, Cupertino. So Tri Valley. So you can contact me, or you can contact Tadiya Seva Prabhu if you want to join any of the teams. And then we have Western Sankirtan, where we go to spots where especially Western tourists are coming. So we have 3 spots today. One is in Laytonville, that is 4 hours north. There is a Kate Wolf Music Festival. So Krishna Sakha Prabhu has already left yesterday. And the second team is in San Francisco. There is a parade event. It's a pride parade. So there will be one team going. I will be going there. If you want to join, please let me know. And third team is Santa Cruz. So there will be Halda Rupa Prabhu and going there. So you can contact me or Acyuta Chaitanya Prabhu. So yeah, and we have a goal to reach 300 devotees joining book distribution to offer to Srila Prabhupada on Tuesday. So you can come, be part of the team for some time or for the whole day. And you can also participate by distributing a Srimad Bhagavatam to your friends and family, or you can take it for yourself, or you can sponsor it for a village in India. So this is how you can participate in the MSF. So thank you so much. And the next program, who are the cooks today? Who are the cooks? Yeah, so cook Hansa Priya Mataji. Let's hear a Hari Bol. Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol. And we also thank Ramanand Sakapru and Krishangi Gopi Mataji for the broadcast. Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol! So we'll go into Prashadam prayers now. Prabhu, could you help?
Can we see the translations, Mataji? From the beginning? Okay, I think. So basically in Krishna consciousness, I am just going over it for the benefit of all of us and for some new devotees who are here. It is said that the tongue in our body is the most difficult organ or sense to control, and this is also a sense that engages us in all other activities. If you look for it, ultimately you will come back to basically feeding the body. But Krishna, being very merciful, has given us his remnants, the prasada, that means the food that has been blessed or tasted by Krishna. If we take that food, then we can overcome. We can overcome the effects of basically Kali Yuga or material body, material sense enjoyment. And that is what this prayer is. So in Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada has and previous acharyas actually have given this practice that whatever food we prepare it with the consciousness that we are preparing it for Krishna. First offer it to him, and then we take the remnants. So that's what the essence of this prayer is. So we'll sing it together. This is in Bengali, you can read and follow along. Sharira avidya jal, jodendriya tahe kal, jive fele vishaya sagare, tar madhe jivati, lobhamay sudhurmati, jake jeta kathina samsare, Krishna barodoyamoy, koribare jivajoy, swaprasadana dilo bhai, she annamrita pao, Radha Krishna guna gao, preme dako Shri Chaitanya nitai, Mahaprasade Govinde Nama Brahmani Vaishnave Swalpa Punyavatam Rajan Vishwasho Navajayate Prasade Sarva Dukkhanam Hanirasopadayate Prasanna Chetasohi Ashu Buddhi Pariyavatisthate Tavyopa Bhuktasha Gandha Vasolankara Charchita Uchchista Bhojino Dasa Tamayam Jahemahi Bhagavad Shri Mahaprasad Ki Jai. Please come take prasadam. It will be served in the foray over here.